Okay, so sometimes I honestly forget that I'm only 25. Like, I literally graduated college 3 years ago. And honestly, I'm like always having to remind myself that it's my first time living, it's my first time building my own business, it's my first time doing a lot of different things. And not only is it my first time, but I also have been the one chosen to be the first to do it, to be the trailblazer, to be different and do things differently than those who went before me, parents, grandparents, all the things. And so, though I do feel like the foundation from my mother, my grandmother, parents, grandparents have been laid, and I don't have to like fully start from scratch. I do feel like when it comes down to a lot of different things, like basically we didn't have hand-me-downs, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of the different things that I'm learning in entrepreneurship, in my career, and different things like that are and have been things that I've had to learn as I go. And so I have to consistently remind myself that, like, I don't know, like, it is my first time living, and the things that I am learning I'm going to be able to hand down to my children so that they can go further than I've gone. And yeah, and I think like a big part that has played into my struggle with contentment and enjoying the current season that I am in is being in a hurry to build, being in a hurry to get to the next stage, being in a hurry to get to the destination instead of really just soaking in the journey. And I think it can be hard, especially when you're the eldest daughter and people are looking up to you. And so I feel like my battle is being content, because it's like, girl, I don't have time. I don't have time to be content. Like I don't have time to be content. And that's how it can feel. Yeah, that's how it can feel. Like, it can feel like, oh, I don't have time to be content because, like, I have to keep going, I have to keep moving, I have to keep building, I have to, you know what I mean, do all of these things because people are depending on me, people are looking at me, and different things like that. But I feel like outside of all of those pressures, though, I have to remind myself that, it is my first time living. I am only 25. And regardless of the fact that people are looking at me, regardless of the fact that I am the eldest child, I am the eldest daughter, I have a journey too. And just like everyone was given the grace, everyone was given the opportunity, everyone was given, the space to learn, to grow, and to enjoy their journey. Like, nobody in this life, in this world, my mother, my grandmother, my father, nobody in this world was rushed to grow up, rushed to live, rushed to achieve for the sake of someone else. And so I'm having to consistently remind myself that, babe, you're only 25, chill out, calm down. Like, you have time. And that was something that I feel like God was also reassuring me of, is like, I'm not in a rush. Like, so if God is not in a rush, God, who is the author and the writer of my story, if he's not in a rush, then why am I in a rush? And I do think, aside from like my age, I feel like I've always been mature, beyond my years. And I don't think it was just my environment that played a part with that. I think it was also the calling on my life, and how God has shaped me. I feel like I've always been this dreamer, looking, to the future of the things that I want to do, the things that I want to accomplish. And I feel like, I don't know, I think it can be a blessing and almost a curse. I don't even call it a curse, but more so like a burden sometimes, because it's like, I have this vision, I have this dream, I have this idea that, I want to build. And I'm sure, like who may be watching, you may be this dreamer, you may be this visionary, who has not just one idea, right? And I think that's a big thing that separates me from a lot of people. Like, some people just have the dream to build an agency. Some people just have a dream to build, a content studio. Some people just have a dream to write a book, right? But what about those people that have the dream to do all of those things, right? And I think that is one of the big differentiating factors is that not only am I a visionary and a dreamer, but I'm also multi-passionate. And I'm called to different spaces within the marketplace for creatives. And then outside of that, I'm also called into ministry. And so it's so giant, it's so big because I'm also big on maximizing your potential and really going after everything that God has put on the inside of you, everything that God has called you to do. And to be an influence in whatever spaces, whether that's the marketplace, the ministry, education, like wherever God has called you to be an influence, to be just that. And so I think that has been, again, a blessing and a burden at the same time, because I'm like, I am mature for my age, and a lot of the different things that I am passionate about, like, I've seen them, I've dreamed about them, and I'm like, just being honest, I want them right now. Like, I want to execute them. And that's the thing too, like, it's so many different parts about me that I feel like causes me to struggle. And I don't know if you can relate with this, let me know in the comment section, but like, there's so many different things that I feel like be tussling when it comes down to contentment and enjoying my current season. Because not only am I a visionary and a dreamer who has the vision, has the dream, but I'm also the executor. Like, give me a vision, give me an idea, we're gonna get her done. And that, like, part of me as well, like, I feel like can be problematic or an issue, because here I am trying to get done what God is saying is not the season, or God is saying to wait, And I think, like, again, that has been very problematic for me because, I think it led me, even in my experience within my business, like, it led me to this place of realizing, like, okay, I'm trying to build faster than God. Like, I am the daughter that ran ahead of him because of my tendencies, because of what's innate or natural for me. And I feel like that's why I think sometimes, like, how we were made, especially when we are doing it without God, it can lead you to an extreme. And those same things that God has, those same things of, like, those same characteristics and traits that you have, if you don't do them with God, can be a danger. Can be, like I said, problematic. And I think that's what I began to realize is the reason why I'm struggling to be content is because of me. Like, that's the reality of it. Like, the reason you're struggling to be content and enjoy your current season is because of you. It's because of traits and characteristics and, like, all of these things that are in you, girl. And yeah, whether it's you trying to rush, like, you trying to prove something, you being, a go-getter, you being hyper ambitious, you being a hustler, like, all of these things that make you who you are. But when you don't allow God to take you to the salon, do a little shaping of those traits, of, what makes you you, when you don't let God, like, refine you, I think that is what leads you to the extreme, where now you're in this space of executing without God or getting ahead of God and just following your own ambitions instead of following the plan of God. And so, yeah, like, I think that for sure, the makeup of me and how I made up has for sure played into why I'm struggling to be content. So yeah, I realized very quickly that my issue to be content had a lot to do with me. And really unlearning different extremes. And trying to, unlearning those different extremes and trying to find that balance. And I feel like I'm always talking about balance because that was one of the revelations that God has just proven and shown to me along my relationship with him. And that's basically that, like, without him, we lean to extremes, and that those extremes could be very, 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 very good or very, 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 very bad. Either way, they're both extremes. And so, yeah, like, I could lean to the extreme of, like, being hyper ambitious, right? And, like, overdoing different things. But then I can also lean to the opposite of hyper ambitious, which is no ambition at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and either way, you're still struggling. Either way, there's still this issue. But with God, when you are allowing God to refine you, you are allowing God to make, mold, and shape you, you begin to realize he helps you to find that balance. That no, I'm not hyper ambitious, and no, I'm not without ambition, but I have this healthy sense of let's get her done. Let's not overdo it because rest is also productive. You know what I mean? And let's just not sit here as if we don't have a purpose. And you know what I mean? Like, there's this healthy balance. And I feel like with everything, God is trying to bring back this sort of equilibrium. And I think that's the beautiful part of it all, is like God is trying to what is it called? Like, he's trying to put things essentially back in order in us. Not just in our lives, but in us. I think the reality is sometimes we're looking for the world to change, not realizing the reason the world is the way that it is because of the people that exist in the world. And so just imagine if we allow God to help to basically fix the dysfunction within ourselves. Like, just imagine if we just allow God to do that. How much, we would be changed. How much our world would change. How much business would change. How much education would change. And so, yeah, like, how much our households and environments and all the things would change. And so that's what I feel like is a big factor with, like, learning to be content and enjoying my current season, is allowing God to bring that equilibrium, if you will, or that healthy balance between the two extremes. And the reality is, like, only he can do that because he knows which extreme you're leaning more towards. You could be the one without ambition at all, right? Like, you struggle to have motivation, different things like that. Or you could be like me, who struggles to be hyper ambitious. And I feel like sometimes, like, when you've dealt with procrastination or different things like that, you tend to go to the other extreme instead of the balance. And I think, again, God is the one who helps us with the balance. I think the thing I wanted to mention was, or something that I've been really thinking about, is how can I enjoy my current season if I feel pressured to be somewhere else? And that was just something that I honestly was reflecting over, and things that I personally was thinking about, because I'm like, I feel this pressure, and I know that pressure comes from different places, and most of the time it's external influences, whether that's parents, siblings, social media, peers, like different things like that. And I know, at least for me, like, I feel like so many times, like, we're pressured to be somewhere else because of the content that we're intaking, or where our focus is, and who has our ear. And I'm just learning that, like, true contentment is really found when you are when you are really focused on what God has said for your season, for your life. And I think that is, like, one of the big things that I am trying to remember, like, having had to slow down, because in business, it's always, okay, you reach 5 figures, let's go 6 figures. Okay, you reach 6 figures, let's go 7 figures. And, like, that is, like, the message, in society, in social media right now. And so, yeah, like, I think that's what makes it hard sometimes to be content. And this is why I feel like we always need that reminder to, like, disconnect and turn off, like, all of these other voices that we may be listening to, because if we're not careful, those external voices will quickly become internal voices.
And those same things and thoughts that was planted, those seeds that were planted by other people, will turn into our belief system and what we're taking in. And so, yeah, like I'm realizing that when you do disconnect and you turn off the world and you stop taking advice from everybody and their mama, like, and you really lock in with what God is saying for your life and for this season of your life, I feel like things really begin to change. And you really become like content with where God has you. And so, yeah, I really feel like I love the slow life, even though I'm pulled to the fast life. And I've learned, like, even when it comes down to talking to others and different things like that, like you basically have to take that time. I'm not saying that we should do this life isolated or we should do this life with nobody, because I do believe that in the presence of many counselors, there's wisdom, there's success. And so I do believe that we should be surrounded with community. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't use social media and different things like that, but I do think that when you find yourself discontent, or you find yourself like not satisfied, or you find yourself just like really like, you know, frustrated or irritated or feeling this pressure, I do think that that is a sign to disconnect, to slow down even more, to see where is all of this coming from, where is this pressure coming from. And once you realize where it's coming from, like reassuring yourself and reminding yourself that, you know, of what God has said and what God is saying, you know, because I think it becomes a lot easier of a life to live when you're only living for one voice. And I think that's the thing, like when you begin to take in what everybody is saying on social media, what everybody is saying around you, like what everybody is telling you to do, and you're taking in all of these things and you're trying to apply it to your life, that's when things become exhausting. That's when things, you know, you begin to feel this pressure, no longer externally, because the people done said what they done said, but now internally you're dealing with this battle, you're dealing with this struggle. And so something that I've learned, like in this season, is I need to slow down. I need to disconnect. I need to turn off everybody and focus on the fact that God told me to slow down. I don't care what the world around me says. I don't care what the world, you know, the world may be telling me, start this business, do this, you need multiple streams of income, blah, 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 blah. You know, the world may be saying all of those things, but what is God saying? What is God telling me to do? What, like, you know what I mean? And I think that's where my peace returned to me. That's where I began to be satisfied with only working 3-ish hours. That's when I became content, knowing that, like, I see what God is doing in my life. Like, you have to really lock in, because nobody's life is the same. Nobody's pace is the same. Nobody's journey is the same. Nobody's business is going to be built the same. You're not going to develop the same way somebody else develops. So it's really important for you to lock in and understand, like, okay, I love what God is doing in your life. I love how this was the path that you took to build your business, but fortunately, like, it's not a bad thing. Unfortunately, but fortunately, our life path is not going to be the same. And so, yeah, really lock in with what God is saying to you, because that's what I'm doing. And I think that has helped me the most to find contentment and enjoy my current season, because it is a season, and if I don't enjoy it, I'll miss the lessons, I'll miss what God is trying to do in me and through me. And one of the big things I will say, like, just from obeying God and listening to his voice, is for this season of my life, is he's helped me to, you know, really decenter my business from my life, because I don't just live to, you know, I'm not just living to work. I'm not just living to build my business. Like, there's so much more to life, because I am multifaceted and I am called to ministry. I'm called to so many different things. And so I think it's very important to, again, like, step back, and when you feel yourself feeling all of this pressure, identify where this pressure is coming from. Is it coming from the fact that I'm trying to prove myself to somebody? Is it coming from the fact that I feel like I got to accomplish something? I got to do something? Like, why do I feel what I feel? So yeah, that's my little 2 cents. Again, how can I enjoy my current season if I feel pressure to be somewhere else? Ooh. Hey girl, hey. I am back and I'm on my way to Pilates. And you know, something that I also thought about, I feel like the life hack is walking with God. Like, the life hack to true contentment and enjoyment of whatever season that you're in is walking with God. And I don't know, like, I just feel like there's this sense of peace to be where God is. Like, to be where God is. And I don't know, like, that really just hit me as I was thinking about, like, you know, just pressure and things that hinder us from being content, hinder me from being content. And something that has really been helping me, because I personally have been prioritizing like pressing into the presence of God. Because like if I'm locked in with him and I'm assured by him and he's giving me his stamp of approval, like that's all that matters. Because when you really sit back and you really think about it, nobody down here knows my future. Nobody down here knows the plans that God has written out for me. Like nobody knows my story. Nobody knows the path that I gotta take. Nobody down here, like we're all down here trying to figure it out. Like, you know, even those who have obtained some form of success, and I would say success in the way that the world defines success, whether that is a certain amount of money or, you know, the house, the car, the husband, the wife, the child, like whatever the case may be. Like I think the reality is like it's still our first time living. Like, you know, even with the experiences that we have, like we don't know, like, you know, none of us knows. Like nobody down here can look somebody in the face. Like nobody down here can tell me what the plan is that God has for my life, what my future is going to hold. Like nobody. And I think that is just what really sticks out to me, because it really is a life hack to be where God is. Like, and I'm just constantly being reminded that sometimes I am the daughter that runs ahead. Like I'm the daughter that thinks she got this grand master plan, she got all these ideas, she got this vision, and so babe, we're gonna go execute it and we're gonna get her done. Because that's you know, that's my motto. But learning that, like, no, again, going back, that balance. Like balance is, yes, I'm the girl with the vision, I'm the girl with the dream, but I'm also the girl who is submitted and surrendered to her Father in heaven, who has the plan. Because, you know, I only have the vision for a part of the plan. You get what I'm saying? I don't have the whole plan. I don't have how all of these things and visions and ideas and all the things he has given unto me is going to work together. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, but I think, again, the life hack is really to be with God, walk with God, be where he is, be where he wants you to be. And really, really press in and get it. Like, if you don't get nothing else, get what God is saying. Be clear on what God is saying. Be clear on where God wants you to go. Be clear on what God is wanting you to do. And understanding your season of life. Like, I think before we can enjoy a season, we have to, you know, and before we can enjoy a season, we have to, what was I about to say? Before we can enjoy a season, we have to understand a season. That's what I was going to say. Like, before we can enjoy something, we have to understand and really, like, get a grasp on what this season is doing in us, what the purpose of this season is. And when we understand that, I can enjoy it, because it's not that this season will last forever, but this season is working. And I think that's the beautiful part. Like when you really do life with God, business with God, build your multiple dreams and visions and all the things with God, this right here, grasping this, that God, he has a purpose, he has a plan, there is a reason for this season. Like, yes, we are doing what we need to do to build success and, like, you know, work toward our goals. Not they loud. Sorry. But we're doing what we need to do to work toward our goals and, like, all the things. Like, I'm not saying be stagnant. I'm not saying do nothing. But what I am saying is you have exactly what you need in this current season. Like, that's the reality of it. Like, you have everything that you need for right now. And unless God gives you other things, you have to accept that, hey, this is where I am right now. This is where I am right now, you know? And where I am is where God wants me. What I have is what God wants me to have, you know? And the goals and the things that I've accomplished is what God wants me to accomplish. You get what I'm saying? And so it's like, me saying this out loud is also for me. Like, I have, and I'm still coming into awareness of the fact that, like, God will withhold no good thing from me. That's like something my bestie girl actually told me, and something that has really stuck with me, because I can be impatient. I'm gonna just be real with you. Like, I can be impatient, very much so. Very much so. And because I know that, like, I have to consistently remind myself, like, God will withhold no good thing from me. So if I don't have it, it means it's not something that I need right now. It's not good for me right now. And so, yeah, I think that's the life hack that I'm learning. Walk with God. Be where God wants you to be. Understand what this season is doing for you in your life. Really get to the root. I had to really get to the root of, like, okay, why is God telling me to slow down? Why do God want me to go at the pace of a snail when it comes down to building this business? Like, come on, I got the ambition. I got the drive. I got what I need. Like, excuse me? You want me to do what? And why? Like, I'm not understanding. Because I could do bad. Nah, I could do bad all by myself, okay? No, but I really can. Like, when I put my mind to it, I can get her done. But he's like, that's not the point. That's not the point of it all. And I think realizing, like, God knows that I can get her done. God knows that I can reach for the stars and I can execute. But what I don't know how to rest. I don't know balance. And I do know hyper ambition, which is gonna lead me to being burnt out. And Lord forbid, I had built the dream and built all of this stuff. If I didn't stop and slow down and know what I know now, babe, I would have been ready to quit it all. Okay, I would have had too many commitments, too many things I've said yes to, and not enough rest, balance, all the things, and not even people in place, like systems, everything. Like, it's really a blessing. Like, sometimes it be hard to obey and you don't fully understand, but those things that are hard to obey and that wisdom, that counsel that just feels like it doesn't make a lick of sense, or you've been waiting on something and you don't understand why you don't see it come into fruition yet, there's a purpose in it, bro. Like, there is legit a purpose in it. There's a reason for it, and you are better for it. Like, because if it would have went your way, babe, if it would have went your way, you would have been unprepared. That's the reality of it all.